Take my hand and we'll go away to a different place. Float on air and we'll hide away. I'll be your escape. Look up and feel the shifting winds tossing us around again. Hold tight, get ready to begin, and just levitate.
this. I feel like we've progressed a little bit past that.
Yeah,
that's Slaughter first pick. Then Weaver ends up being on the other side. In some ways, because it is a versatile pickup, just like Slaughter, offlane support or safe lane carry, all available to that hero. But then I think also synergy-wise, Slaughter Weaver is a very dangerous duo. So one support apiece and one question mark
remaining
with the Rubik now.
Yep, so slight differentiation with Navi having the first pick. Interesting now on the Radiant side too, a lot of the last series they played, it was always like Navi on the Dire, Secret often with the first pick, so it does feel like there's already been some slight changes in the way the draft worked. And it was actually Puppy who had selection choosing Dire at the start of this game, so giving Navi Radiant side and first pick, but we'll see what Team Secret look to do now with this more physical damage-oriented draft of theirs. They're going to have the draw ranger denied from them, so a little bit worried about what might be coming there. And the PA ban is one of those things, like you ban PA, it's like, all right, I wonder what they might be looking for with a PA ban, and well, draw ranger, one of the better heroes, or one of the worst heroes to have against the PA.
Johns, have you unlocked the secret as to the mysterious Dire side picks that some of the higher teams have been picking up? Because Radiant was very, very preferred at ESL 1 Genting. Everyone was shooting Radiant until the finals, where Newbie and DC, or before that, Newbie was the only team to choose Dire, and the DC also did that. Now, I've seen a few more teams picking that up as well. Have you unlocked any of that mystery?
Not really. I haven't talked to any of the teams, so it's like speculation, I guess. I think that Dire side trade placement is much better for their offlane than the Radiant offlane one. It's really easy just to do that Dire offlane, throw your spells, shrine up, and then keep fighting. Roshan, I think is like fairly neutral, maybe slightly Dire favorite. I don't think it's a major difference. Like Radiant has that really nice high ground where that cliff is, but similarly that cliff can work to Dire's advantage if they can get control of that area. So I'm not totally sure, to be honest.
If it works out here for Team Secret, they ban away PA and our Assassin. Chen is going to be a notable ban by Navi. Can't let that fall into the hands of Puppy again. That micro in, what was it, game 2, I think? That was real strong. Oh, that wasn't game 2. They had the same exact job.
That was against a different opponent, right? That was the following AdFinem series, I believe. So we'll see what Secret look to get. Mid hero is probably like the big thing you're going to be looking at with Secret. He's been their big playmaker for the most part. Had a really sick Invoker game. His sniper game, he was like 21-0 on as well. So Ogre picked up. Well, that kind of leads some credence towards that sniper pick. Or at least something similar, but
if it's not SF or it's not sniper, I feel like you would first spirit pickup
10 seconds remaining
for Team Secret. It's a better roaming power, but the Ogre Magi has a lot more static laning phase and obviously great synergy with potential mid 1 cores.
Reserve time.
Yeah, anytime I see an Ogre nowadays, like the first hero that comes to mind is like, oh, they're picking sniper. Navi pick a quap so they get their mid laner, something that's actually a good gap closer against the sniper and can look to have a good laning stage there. Not to say we're sure going to be that sniper, but it is definitely a high possibility and something that Navi will similarly be thinking the same when they see the Ogre pick.
10 seconds remaining.
And interesting that Navi do pick up that their mid laner, even though they have an idea of what could be coming.
Reserve time.
It's kind of surprising me that they don't actually just wait it out, but apparently they wouldn't be able to hold on to that slow.
10 seconds
just
remaining.
yet, and I think part of that is the fact that Secret. If you look at their lineup, well, that's definitely a switcheroo.
Well, like for the matchup advantage mid lane. Well, not really advantage, but a better matchup than perhaps the Sniper would have had against the Queen of Pain, one of the kind of classic 1v1s, the Puck versus Quap. Now Navi will have to either reveal kind of what the starter's doing or pick their carry. At this point, you can kind of pick Picats here if you want. You're not too worried. Secret have that overall last pick. And the nice thing about the Puck is it is still flexible. It could still be an off-laner even without the Drow. It is a possibility. So if they see something they want as a last pick from mid one, that could come out as like an overall 10th pick. But it feels like Secret are lacking somewhat in initiation right now. So I'm not... Well, I guess the Puck as an offlaner can work okay as an initiator. It's more about when you get that Blink Dagger timing. So not sure how I feel about like an offlane Puck if they get some kind of snowballing mid with Kezu potentially getting shut down by Navi.
Yeah, I think I like the idea of the mid Puck here if they're going to be running the offlane Weaver, because we were having that conversation yesterday with all these offlane Weavers being picked up. They're severely lacking initiation, and if you're going to take your offlane position, which is leading up to this tournament, has been divided in pretty much half. It's in either some sort of mech sustain hero that plays pretty fast for you and gets an early mech and you're sustained for team fights, or it's an early Blink Dagger hero and gives you your team fight initiation. But the offlane Weavers have thrown a total wrench in all of that. Does leave some of the lineups lacking, sometimes both in initiation and sustain. So I do kind of like the idea. They pick up the Puck here, almost no matter what.
Team Secret's turn to ban.
Navi, fourth pick, Axe.
Yeah, this was their game-changing pick in that game 3, and a hero that seems to really suit them in their style. For Navi, I really like seeing them when they have these aggressive initiating heroes. It seems when they're at their best, when both General and RMN can be playing gap closers like the Axe Slider. Like most teams will just go for one, like be happy with a Slider and put a Weaver in an offlane, or put like a more farming core there. But for Navi, I think having both General and RMN on that role works just fine, because Pycat and Dendi are normally playing like these more hard farmers and looking to scale a lot better, so they need those. Having multiple players in that role seems to work better for them.
To be ban away here by Team Secret would have been, I don't know. Juggernaut doesn't feel all too good for me.
10 seconds remaining.
Against Weaver and Puck, those are two pretty mobile heroes that are usually able to deal with Omni Slash pretty well. But it would give them, I would give Navi, I guess, a pretty decent pushing power off that. The healing ward, and would just in general give them really good mid game.
Yeah. So Darkseid ban and Ursa pick.
Team
okay,
Secret's turn
that's
to pick.
Very different approach than the Jug. I mean, they both have that single target kill potential, but Jug is more that like well-rounded, can push, can provide some heal for his team, have some sustain. Ursa is all in on the aggression for
10
now.
seconds remaining.
Don't they both have that same problem with very mobile cores though? The Weaver and Puck, and now Medusa.
Yeah.
Whoa.
I feel like Ursa is a pick that surprises me, because normally, more often than not, Ursa's being picked up because he counters an enemy hero. Like, you're not just seeing Ursa picked up for the sake of having an Ursa in your team, for having an aggressive core. You're seeing it because there's like a Timbersaw on the other team, or you can have a laning match mid where he's against like an Alchemist or something. Just casually picking an Ursa is a bit unexpected in my mind.
Medusa is gonna be a weird one. So it's and safe lane Medusa, and then we change things up and make it offlane Puck. And I was thinking core eventual Spirit at that point.
Oh, support Weaver. So Puppy's playing Weaver. Yeah, mid one is going to be. I think the Medusa wants to be mid lane, because that's where you can get the most XP. You match up pretty well against the Queen of Pain. You've got the Bloodlust. So I think Medusa mid is the one thing I feel like needs to happen. And then they put the Venge onto MP. So that's what we saw like going back to the start of these qualifiers. And I like the Medusa pick a lot. Like against the Ursa, it means I don't think Ursa's going to be able to do a whole lot. There's two big initiators in the Slider and the Axe, and it means that Medusa's just a core that's not going to instantly die if you get Blink Rushed or Blink Cold.
Yeah, it's funny. We were talking about how Ogre has this synergy with these other mids. You know, the Sniper. That's a nice one as well. Like these kind of ranged physical DPS, kind of squishy. All those heroes sync up really well with Bloodlust. And the sniper in particular, because his damage is a little bit weak, and he's also very reliant on attack speed. Shot early on. Medusa is a hero that is very infamous for having very poor damage for a really long time. So the fact that they were able to set out this whole entire strategy up with both Ogre as well as the core Vengeful Spirit, I really like the way that Seek this whole entire draft together, and it does feel like there's a lot more credibility to a carry when you got these two kind of damage.
Yeah, absolutely. I'm still got question marks in my head about the Ursa pick and what it's intending to do this game. Even before the Medusa pick, I was like, well, Ursa's not great against Puck or Weaver. I mean, I guess the Weaver's going to be a support, so that's one thing slightly going his way. But even a core Venge, I don't think of Ursa like, oh yeah, that's the kind of core you want against Venge. So, I mean, Navi have to have this idea that they can beat Secret by winning the lanes and like snowballing and getting Roche control. That to me is like that's what this Ursa pick says, because it does not work in this game as like a counter to Secret. So it must be something that Navi think suits their style.
So Navi just kind of focusing on their own drafts and their own kind of play style against Secret. Yep. Secret definitely going to be playing the longer game here with the Medusa for sure. poor River. Look at this guy. He's been on his ass this whole entire time. Now General is going to be receiving a face full of flaming garbage. The Ogre Magi does a decent amount of damage. They're actually just going to go back and activate a base shrine at half HP and TP out. But it is going to be an aggro tri lane coming out from Secret. Navi are dodging it. They've already put Pycat up at the top lane again. Kazu.
Dendi mid taking early harass, so this is annoying for him. Means he's gone into level 1 blink, doesn't have that Shadow Strike harass, so already you can see how this mid matchup is not going to be all too favorable for Dendi. And this laning setup is looking fairly good for Team Secret. Like, they've set up so that bottom lane is really hard to lane in against this. So Venge, top lane Puck's going to get... I mean, there's not really any kill threat onto this Puck, at least currently. So all three lanes should be pretty good for Secret.
I love this aggressive ward that got down. Not only is it going to be able to scout rotation, not get countered, but it's going to be able to see some of the support rotations into mid lane and give mid one the heads up that he kind of needs in the early laning. It's also giving him a little bit of idea of what General's up to, as he has been forced into Radiant jungle since tri-lane / dual lane scenario. It's just an axe, and generally this hero does jungle.
It looks like Navi didn't see these lanes coming. Like, General has Tengos and he had double Sal, which I think that the items to jungle is still the Iron Talon, so he must have been expecting a 1v1 against the Puck down bottom, and then they would just like go top with this Ursa Rubik and like try and hold their own. Like, they weren't going to win with the aggro lane on Navi's side, but they can at least be annoying. Pilot has come in though, and he's messing with General, so...
He took one of the small centaurs too.
Yeah.
Now he's going to be taking half the experience of the... Rubik's gonna have to pull double duty here, help out General as well as Dendi, but it's an ogre. Not much you can really do against this hero. Naturally tanky. Cat getting a couple right clicks here onto Kez in the top lane, but as you said, there really shouldn't be much kill potential. They're even gonna have Puppy here pulling in, so actually going to make this lane even harder for Pycat to work with.
Yeah, the good news for Navi is they're getting a little bit more out of the map. They have a pseudo jungler, and RMM was sitting bottom, getting XP, getting a couple CS, so they are getting a little bit extra in terms of overall farm, but the lanes being lost doesn't feel like it's overall worth it. With that said, mid lane is currently going a bit better. Then getting the help from the Rubik has helped harass mid one down fairly low here, so...
Alright, Pycat picked up a haste rune. Death to Pile, I die. Oh man, I like that opinion, man. They're just like, nah, screw Pie. Screw his shenanigans in the jungle. Yeah. He's messing everything up. He's being a constant threat to General. Let's use this haste rune to kick him the hell out.
Did he TP in with the haste rune, like from top, or was it just already rotating bomb?
He TP'd into the truck.
Okay. Well, that's I think they were planning on rotating Pie down bottom anyways, or Pyka that is.
Yeah.
Given a laning step, I don't think it was all too favorable for Navi. They want this Axe vs Puck matchup. Puck doesn't really threaten the Axe all too much. It does a little bit more now because Puck has a level advantage, but this is the laning step Navi were hoping for with their initial move out. Now they've actually got it. They are a little bit behind though, in terms of overall levels and farm.
Like this puppy, if he comes back to this aggro China lane, I'm pretty sure they still easily outlane this scenario for Navi. They try and get a pull off. Nice wave of terror out there from MP to actually pull things right back to him. So they continue a very nice creep equilibrium that forces Navi forward. Very much potential danger. Potential spirit for early game presence. One of the things that I love the core Vengeful Spirit here is because it's so nice and aggressive and powerful early on that it really does cover some of them.
Yeah, and this is a bench that's happy to be in a 3v3 lane, has the early levels, has one, now a Bassi ring. Like, this is a perfect setup for MP to be in a 3v3 type lane. So I definitely agree. If he wants to come back down bottom, it is a lane that Secret will have the edge in. It's just whether or not they feel, and I think that's what they kind of want. They want to have a straight 1v1 if possible. They want Queen of Pain Dendi to be somewhat uncontested in his 1v1. And so far, he doesn't seem to be too clear where he wants to go. He is lurking around this bottom lane, so it does seem like he is going to make a play down here.
Going to Pycat here, double stuns already up. Pycat is going to slow down some of his pursuers here with the clap, but they need a little bit more damage. Unfortunately, the bugs did not latch on Pycat. He will manage to get away, but still, they forced him back. Healing salves and clarity's feet. He also had magic. Definitely good.
Yeah. The puppy waited for that double stun initiation, just couldn't quite close the gap fast enough. And Navi with Pycat healing up with the clarity. They could look to try and turn around some of this aggression, but similarly, Pilot he's got mana coming his way. It looks like Puppy's just going to wander off, get some wards down, and see what else he can get around the bottom lane. Looking for a courier, perhaps?
Yeah, he was. He spotted out the courier because of the aggressive ward. Navi, similarly, they spotted Puppy heading towards the courier and pulled the base. Couldn't be found here. Man, everywhere I look, it's just like Navi losing. You know, their tri-lane is like hiding underneath the tower, and he's forced to play back because this sick snake has now gotten very dangerous, and it keeps on back over and over again.
Radiant's top
His
tower
mana,
is under
and the
attack.
general is playing jungle half the time. That's really the right light. Roster Cat maybe on here. Stunned up. MP is going to be able to get close enough. Telekinesis actually push them back. They now have a stun. They're going to try and finish off now. Pycat is probably giving up his life for this one, but at least they do get the kill. Now the Orban from the Kazu will stop Vivers TP out with the coil and make that a 2-for-1.
Alright. I mean, Pycat making sure he gets the kill before he goes down, and the Pup TP and only secures a Rubik. I feel like that's not quite worth Kezu's rotation because he was actually having a really good time against this Axe up top. Axe being pushed back in the jungle. Because Kezu had that early treads, it was a pretty tough lane for him, so Kezu wants to get more out of this movement, and he is now swinging through mid lane to see what he can do to Dendi.
Dendi's just always out of mana. Big snakes are going straight for him, and even the even Infused Raindrop is not enough him to be able to win this game approximately.
Is under attack.
Really feels like Pycat, there's just no good lane for him. He TP's top as soon as he respawns, like, alright, there's a tri-lane bottom and Puck's TP'd in. This top lane looks like a good place to get some farm and levels, but again, he's just he's taking a long time to come online. Ursa being a double hero, you don't want to see him have a bad laning phase. That's exactly what's happening right now for Pycat.
Down at bottom. Dendi, this is where he's going to pick up level 6 apparently. He'd be leaving Midwan alone at the mid lane and expecting some of this. I guess Dendi being the most mobile hero is probably the best to go against aggro tri-lane. That's what running. Of course, now the ports are kind of all over the place. Puppy sitting in the Radiant jungle near mid. Die on higher side. Also approaching that mid lane. Want to make sure that Midwan is safe with some of these heroes off map.
It feels like a lot of lane swapping that doesn't necessarily advance Navi because he's caught out at top, but he's gone.
Needed that instant crush while the telekinesis pullback was still happening, and then just get the call. It was not the right kind of coordination from Navi to kind of kill that.
Puppy's able to stop Dendi getting the bounty rune and force him back to base. Everything coming up Team Secret right now. And normally you think like, okay, they're swapping their lanes, they want to turn them into more like advantageous lanes, but they're going from like really bad lanes to still pretty bad lanes. They will snipe the courier with this smoke rotation.
Don't gaze. Is going to be able to go off fast enough? It is. Pylai Die will be saved by that ultimate. And the rest of Navi can't actually chase him down. But a courier was definitely a great pickup. If that whole entire rotation, that could have just happened, that smoke rotation by Navi, and they could have just failed to pick up anything.
Yeah. The courier is the bigger kill than the ogre anyways, as far as income goes for your team. It does come at the cost of entering tons of space in this bottom lane, takes an early tower. Just like MP and KheZu just have all the room in the world to just do whatever they want this game. If they want to TP and rotate, they can get kills for their team, but alternatively, they'll be like, tell the team, like, look, if you guys can just hold your own in your lanes, I'm going to get this tower, or I'm just free farming away. KheZu can get a fast blink dagger and probably be like level 9 or 10 potentially and have a lot of really strong rotation potential, so this laning setup is looking really good for Secret right now. They're going to hit a very strong mid-game spike here based on how much they've won this early game.
A top 3 CS on Team Secret and are occupying the top 3 most of the time. Bots, Buck, and Medusa. Pretty much neck and neck with the Ursa, but it's a Vengeful Spirit who's pulling way ahead. NP has been free farming for days. Vengeful Spirit is going to be a very dangerous threat going into the mid game with all this.
Yep, just a bit of gold away from that, help with the Dominator, and then things get very problematic with that extra that he can help protect himself with or play aggressive with. So mid lane Dendi. Yeah, they can go a mid one here, but that is not particularly close. I mean, the TP in, if there wasn't an ogre behind mid one, may have been potential threat, but I think for Navi, you're just really eyeing off this Pax Blink Dagger. He's rushing it. I think Navi recognized, I mean, I think he was going to go this build regardless whether the lanes went fully or not, but he is going to be the key game changer for them. When they get this Blink Dagger up, they need to start making rotations to kill core heroes. Like, this Venge is getting away with way too much down bottom. Same for Puck up top. You need the Queen of Pain and Axe and team up. Go for a smoke rotation immediately upon picking up the Blink.
Yeah, big part of it is just the secret cores, right? You can't fight into this Vengeful Spirit early on, and then the Puck they didn't have any kill power against, so everything's based on this Blink Dagger of General and see if he can make the right kind of initiates to turn this thing. Now, mid one, oh man, he was kind of low mana, but then he got a pretty decent mistake. Now they're going to make their initiation off multiple heroes, try and pull up mid one before he gets off the mid shield, and they do get him. Now, second one, Highlight Die also goes down. Puppy got to see the shot from General here. KheZu comes in and does manage to get a turnaround kill. MP and KheZu ruling up here against 3. RMN misses out on the crush, and they will not pursue into Secret. More than happy with a 1-for-3 exchange. We said this Blink Dagger is everything to Navi, and General did accomplish just that.
Yeah, it was. I think Secret themselves were in a strong position around that mid tower. They have Venge invised up. Level 9 Venge, very scary at this stage because of how farmed she is. Similarly, Puck Blink Dagger had been picked up as well. Secret themselves were at a power spike there. The difference is, it's Navi who get the initiation. Whoever jumps first there is going to win that fight. If Venge is able to get a stun out of the invis to burst down the Queen of Pain, that Blink Dagger doesn't achieve what it does there because there's no Queen of Pain Sonic Wave, there's no Scream, but it's Navi who take the initiative, get the jump, and Secret were just kind of sitting around. You can't really bait against a Blink Dagger because you're going to lose that Medusa before it can happen. And perhaps if Venge was in a position to swap Medusa out, it could have been different, but that Medusa dropped so fast.
I mean, what about something as simple as him having Mana Shield?
That could have made a big difference, yeah.
I mean, he could have just, he was hitting tower, he could have just had the Mana Shield up and been good, but didn't expect that instant initiation. Now, Secret have made smoke rotation. They got a successful scan, but what they don't expect is Navi are so grouped up here, may still win it anyway. The enrich goes off from Pike, but he's kind of stuck inside the trees with a bog on top of him too. Now coiled up. All of that is going to be little Pycat down, so they managed to get that one. Mid one is going to be the target rotation of General once again, but this time with the Mana Shield up, it seems pretty unlikely they'll be able to.
Yeah, perhaps oversight from mid one last time not having it online. There's not really any reason they doesn't need to save his mana for an ulti Mystic Snake. He had more than enough mana for Mana Shield and to use one of those spells, so as it stands, there's some space for Iron Man. He's going to watch Pycat go down while he gets some bump towards his Blink Dagger up top. We'll see if probably waiting that Sonic Wave cooldown, look to make another aggressive over now. General has blink. He's just going to camp around this top lane, and this is actually looking like a potential tier 1 tower. And yeah, with Dendi and Bivers rotations up here, this is pretty much an impossible position to defend. Pycat though is in no man's land. You should not be down here. You've got four teammates pushing up top, and the enemy's missing from the map. So yeah, he needs to vacate this bottom lane.
Secret are here in towers. That's the bad part about these Medusa lineups when you're facing them. It's not like it's a clear push that you have to defend. It's always present, right? That chip damage is always there. So even though Navi are hitting these, they're beginning to hit some of these timings for the mid game, they're still looting these towers just by simple small rotations. Nice initiation from General. A two-man call leading to the Sonic Wave. Mid one will survive through it initially. Doesn't have enough mana for the Stone Gaze, so can't actually repel Navi. Navi get the opportunity to just run over whatever heroes they can. They've already picked up 2 bold cores from Secret. Now they're looking for support as well. Puppey is dusted up. They're going to be able to get the Corrosive Haze and the call, so Puppey doesn't have a chance for a time lapse there. 3 down on the side of Secret. Another big turnaround here from Navi. The execution just seems to be their favor, as every single one of these fights is about a 1,500 to 2,000 gold exchange.
Yeah, I mean, there's good reason why Navi, through all their struggles with some of the past rosters, everyone was always hyping up General. And everyone, whenever you talk about Navi going
good, but now they're very rapidly going to see highlight die here. That with all these blink daggers coming in, Secret don't really stand a chance that they split apart. They're gonna have to group up more, and that's just gonna be, I think, Vengeful Spirit's farm is gonna slow down quite because Medusa is probably gonna be the primary farm.
I mean, Venge was top of the net worth by a good 1,000 gold at one point, but that has quickly ceased to be the case here as Navi going the aggressive with a smoke, and Kezu.
Kezu's phase shift is level 2, so lasted just long enough, but he doesn't manage to get away from that intense physical damage thanks to Corrosive Haze.
Yeah, this is Navi just picking them off one by one, and this is, I think a lot goes back to the draft and the Navi playstyle. They'll put RMN and General both on Playmakers. They like to have these like dual initiators, not just be relying on one person. And Secret themselves only have Kezu for that role. And Puck is just not really that reliable of an initiator compared to a Slider or an Axe. You get an instant pickup with the Slider or the Axe. The Puck, you blink, you Dream Call, there's possibility of a counterplay because that hero is not stunned for all too long.
I love that. The way that Navi set that up, right? They go for this initiation without a smoke. They just straight up run into the lane while it was dark and link in with this fresh blink dagger, a Pycat, get a quick kill. And then they show a couple of heroes, but they still smoke up. They still move aggressively, something that Secret very clearly were unprepared for as they're just trying to figure, hey, Navi, they picked off one. They're probably going to go for a top lane push, and we're just going to farm our jungle in the meantime. But that extra bit of aggression from Navi that is very rapidly becoming this new squad signature style does catch Secret off guard, and as a result, of a core kill, more pressure onto this tower, which they desperately need to take, right? This is one of the keys to unlocking some of the dire jungle that are benefiting from.
Yeah, absolutely. And we'll see if Navi want to make a kind of aggressive play around this mid lane. MP very tanky, 1,800 HP at 18 minutes in. Holy crap, that is unbelievable. Venge, what a hero. This is why you play the Venge as a core.
And you've got a lot of armor to back that up too, because you are an agility hero. So, and they do have some very aggressive wards, so I believe some of this has been scouted. RMN doesn't actually see Highlight. They kind of walk past each other. RMN will zip away with his sprint, but seeing 2 bottom, they're going to try and put pressure on mid now with their 3 heroes. You have to be a little bit careful here. There is an opportunity for an instant stun if they get a coil and swap at the same time. Pycat can be in a bad position, but General's there with the recourse. They managed to get a call onto MP, but he's too tanky. Now mid one right in the middle of all this with the Stone Gaze. Pycat has to turn and fight, but there goes that Aegis, and there goes General too. The initiator's down. RMN's pushed away. That's going to be another form of initiation that's going to be missing for Navi. Fortunately, they do manage to get the Ursa out with a quick blink after the Aegis revive, but it's still a nasty engagement. They really wanted to take that mid lane tower, but Secret denied them.
Yeah, MP again his tankiness coming into play there, and mid one showing up at perfect time with the stone gaze. Really good usage. As soon as Navi engage in you with the Ursa, you've got to pop that, and the result of that is General instantly dies. General's relying on that blink follow-up from the Ursa, the Slaughter, even a Queen of Pain blink. Navi have 4 blink gap closing heroes, and they want to just try and overrun Secret with numbers. Like when they get that first kill, suddenly there's 4 heroes on you and there's no counterplay possible. But by instantly stone gazing, Ursa gets forced back. Even with an Aegis, he can't just let himself get stone gazed up. There's no point in that. You're not going to get the kill. So Secret able to take out General, and without General alive, that fight gets very, very tricky.
Wonder how many smokes Navi have left. They don't have any in their inventory, but it does kind of feel like they were operating on oak ganks before, and they got themselves
Dire's middle tower has been denied.
Team fights and a few pickoffs that were quite notable, and get some good map control back. But these kind of just more straight face plays, especially because of the fact that Secret had good, strong, like aggressive wards that are able to see a lot of these rotations before even close to Secret. It does seem like the non-rotations are being read by Secret when they're smoked, and as a result being countered.
Yeah, and I think the other big thing is both Medusa and Benj at this point, where smoke ganks and rotations aren't just going to kill them. Now with a Manta style and an extra ulti orb, mid one is very tanky. Same for MP. He's getting incredibly tanky himself on the bench. And once Puppey has an Aghanim Scepter, I think the ability to blink in and burst one hero down just gets taken away. And that's where Navi's draft perhaps struggles to kind of function in a team fight setting. They can't really initiate easily on Secret unless they're initiating on Puppey himself.
One of the things is they need some extra damage. Their initiation. General's trying to finish up a blade mail, but it's going to be swapped back here. Secret, well, but Keza kind of blinks a little bit too far forward. General does manage to get off the call, survives for a while, but will still end up going down. No extra disables needed. More TPs out there. Should be able to make it. Oh, Coil just half second late there. Kezu decently fast on the reactions from the bug catch, but not good enough.
Yeah, well, the end of the world for Secret, who was back off, defend some of these lanes. Pika needs to not get caught out here as they get dewarded, but Navi looks like we'll just play some efficiency game up top. It will be a Deso as Pike's next major item. Interesting option. Good synergy with all the minus armor from the Slaughter, but not the typical Ursa pickup you'd expect.
I think it's required here in this game because they don't really have a building hitter, right? And they have to close out this game sometime soon because it is USA. So I think in many ways, Pycat doesn't have the other options. He's got to go for he has to go for offensive items for damage, or for building hitting. No one else is going to be able to do it.
Yeah, I totally agree. I think with the fact that Arma and General are both playing in this case, there's no damage coming from them. It's only Dendi who has damage output, and if Sonic Wave's on cooldown, like, how do you take a fight? Like, where's your damage coming from? So yeah, the Deso makes total sense. He'll go back for the Aghanim Scepter afterwards, but I think, yeah, an item like this almost feels like a necessity for Navi to be able to scale, and not even scale to the late game, but just scale into this mid game to be able to kill heroes like Medusa, Venge, and see what Secret can do. This is not looking good for Pycat.
Wow, Pycat. Yeah, the read. Some of the mid lane, maybe he spotted something from the mid lane creeps or something. Does manage to blink away ahead.
Sick reaction from him, and Navi will look to trade top lane for mid lane. They may not even lose mid. And if Secret want to stop this power push from coming, they'll just have to TP back and forgo push at the moment. And yeah, it looks like that's going to be the call.
Probably for the best. They're about to finish up that Scott. That will be huge. Many of these heroes, they have the initiation, but as we've said, they don't have the damage to pop many of these heroes, and then they'll have a hard time getting out of the fight once that Scotty's up on mid one.
So next Roshan becomes key for both teams, but much more so Navi, like, who can't let Secret get the next Aegis and really want it themselves on Ursa. Like, you've got this Desolator build, you're very squishy, your impact in a fight is very volatile. Like, the difference between doing 0 damage in a fight or doing the most damage in a fight can just be one stun or having an extra life. So getting Pycat and Aegis becomes a high priority for Navi, but it's more about the how, not the if you can get it.
MP's in an awkward position here. He may be caught by these shrine rotations. Pycat's not going to turn around though. He just keeps marching forward, close to the highlight dive because RMN's the back line. They do also catch NP, but that Blade Mail is going to do a decent amount of damage. They've caught Pylai Die, but the Stone Case is turning them away from NP, who managed to get the swap back. Viver, a free pick off there. Pycat still trying to lay waste to the back lines there, but is going to be coiled up and now kited around. He will end up going down here to mid one as they turn. RMN also being caught, and Dendy, having very little impact in that team fight, was not able to line up a good Sonic Wave with such a disjointed two-sided fight.
Yeah, it got split up perfectly by that Stone Gaze. Like, Ursa just ignored the Medusa because he was behind her, so just kept right-clicking the backlines. But that was initially just an Ogre, and then it was Puppey on the Weaver. You're not going to kill a Weaver as an Ursa. You're always going to get kited around the Shikuchi, the time-lapse. There's zero way to kill Puppey there, and as you kind of mentioned, Dendy not really being able to get himself into that fight, line up a Sonic Wave, meant that the initiation was kind of wasted. They couldn't bring down MP, and Secret pick up those next couple of items. The Skadi is there. MP has a Hurricane Pike back at base and is going to go back for Solar Crest. This is an item that can completely cripple Pycat, so it's going to be very, very tough for this Ursa in these upcoming fights, getting kited around, getting Solar Crested up. I think Navi know they're smoking up, perhaps hoping. No, they know Roche is up in the next 45 seconds because that's the max respawn time, but it is that max respawn. That's where they will unfortunately not be so lucky.
I think it's going to result in nothing. RMN gets his pop, now going to be swapped back by MP, straight into a stun. Puppey activates the Shrine, thinking, if the fight's coming to me, I'll need a little bit of extra HP and mana to work with. And now Navi, with that smoke, thinking they were trying to challenge Roshan, have just given it away potentially with 40 seconds left on RMN and only a few seconds left on the Roshan.
Yeah. Nice that it is definitely more interesting to have that kind of dynamic Roche timer because it makes it so much harder to plan some of these plays. You kind of got to roll the dice a bit, and if you're behind, you can't just say, "All right, we smoked the second Roche to respawn." You don't know when it respawns, so when you're in this disadvantageous position as Navi, you've got to take a risk, and that risk does not pay off there. Roche wasn't up for Pycat. If it was up, he could have just taken Roche while his team just sat around the pit smoked up, waiting to see if Secret came in and used like your positional advantage, but there was no Roche. Iron Man goes for a too aggressive of a play on the high ground, and they get punished, so game continues to go south for Navi, and that Roche could potentially be taken by Secret. They've got minus armor from Venge as well as Weaver, plenty of damage output to kill it if they want to.
I guess all in. Got that TP2, I guess.
Can't TP out now.
Or his sins. Well, maybe Navi can get another tower off of that. They forced a lot of rotations with that because they probably thought there's no way Pycat's committing like this without some backup. So now most of the heroes are on the top half of the map, and they're going to try and go for a bottom lane push while Roshan being taken by.
Yeah, getting a tier 1 or something would be at least nice, but they've lost all map control. All their other towers, the shrines were starting to fall. It was Navi who are losing their top shrine by Roshan. Before Secret's like, wait a second, let's just TP back and get these kills, but yeah, this is going to be tough. They really want they could defend bottom, but it doesn't look like the Medusa has any interest in TPing in. Doesn't even have a TP scroll currently, so we'll just make the long walk towards this bottom lane. Navi Secret not really in any rush right now. Like, their lineup is going to scale fantastically. Like, they're stronger right now, they've got the Aegis and all, but they don't have to try and end this game necessarily. If anything, they're better off just shutting down some of the Navi progression and playing it a bit safer until they're sure they can get that high ground push happening.
Shrines being out. There's Shrine left now for Radiant side. From Navi, you're looking to be able to catch something because they know the Medusa is bottom, but they just can't quite get there. In fact,
and Medusa's already back now.
Now Medusa keeping on the Shrine. Secret will begin their turn. They're going to get some stuns here onto Pycat. RMN's going to interrupt that. Does manage to get a decent crush, but now caught in a two-man coil. Kenzu makes sure that two of them will end up going down. Viver hot next to RMN, so both the supports down from Navi. Now a push will ensue.
Shrine's a pretty big change to the way the Dota 2 is played out now. You've lost both your top towers, you've lost your mid-tier 1, yet Medusa is still able to TP back in, not directly in the fight, but very close to the fight after pushing out the bottom lane, and is in a position to join the team ground push with both supports dead. Navi trying to get scraps of farm in the middle and the bottom side of the map. General has 2.7k gold, but at this point may just need buyback for this high ground defense, and I don't even know if Navi can defend this one.
Radiant's top tower is under attack.
Like, no matter
Radiant's
what
top
happens,
tower is
they're
falling.
going to be crippled. If they can defend this, they will have lost most of their control. Hard to gain that back. General's going to come in with his Shadow Blade, try to go for the back lines here. Shadow Blade and the Blink Dagger, but they do have the counter vision. Managed to blink away from that one, but now swap back in. His initiation going to be a little futile now as he gets right-clicked apart. Our man also going to be caught here. Nice activation of the Shrine by Bibber, while Pycat goes for some of the side heroes, but can't finish any of them off. There's too many force stats, too many swaps, too many problems for him to lock down these very mobile heroes. And now Mid-1 just keeps on marching forward. He's got half the mana, still has Aegis, has that Solar Crest to be able to work off of, and all of Secret is sitting behind him, waiting to go. Another
the time lapse
activated by Puppey onto Mid-1.
16-second cooldown. Like, yeah, just to give him like an extra 300 mana.
Ooh.
Puppey time lapses. They lose Kezu though.
That's something. Dendy's gonna keep on moving forward here. They kind of ignore Dendy. Just go ahead and keep on right-clicking down Pycat. MP, make sure he kite that hero. Puppey, oh, he gets taken apart there with the Enrage activated by Pycat. He does the extra damage necessary. Sonic Wave hits a little bit there. Does manage to finish off MP. Pycat desperately needs to get away, though. It does have a Blink Dagger up. He's good. Now they're turned around. They can actually pursue, especially with RMN. They're going to be able to catch Pylai Die here. Mid-1 turn and fight as best he can, but I'm not sure if Mid-1 can, though. He is going to be able to pick up one and is going to be brought down. The problem is on his second life, he's not going to be receiving any help. Navi are actually going to buy back on RMN just to make sure that one can't actually escape. Get the close K's, and Pycat's just waiting and waiting and waiting until he can make his initiation. General almost dies here with the Shadow Blade activated. Now the Enrage with the damage coming in. Mid-1 pops the Manta. Maybe he can still pick up a couple more kills here. General gets the call. He gets one. He was so close to picking up 2 or 3 more. He almost 1v4'd the rest of Navi.
That was exciting to watch. I'm watching this like, is he actually gonna 1v4? That Slaughter buyback, really good call from Iron Man. Recognize, alright, this Deuce is about to respawn with Butterfly, full HP, full mana. My Axe can't fight, my Ursa can't fight. I've got to buy back to stop the Deucer TPing out and make sure we get this kill, which will at least salvage this high ground defense into a slightly acceptable and still playable position. But that was some hold from Navi. Like, the fact they're still in this game is a big surprise to me.
Goes to show, first of all, I think we learned from that top lane engagement, that really awkward one where they half ignored NP. And Pycat jumped forward. They can't split their damage up. They have to utilize the small bit of disables that they have and the burst damage of the Earth to focus one hero down. And that's what they did in the winning part of that engagement, right? They blink in, they kill Kezu really quickly.
Yes.
And then they kind of
And you can't even react with a time lapse. Like, he had time lapse up, it was just too fast.
Silence onto 2. Armin and Dendy going to be caught inside the coil, but now General managed to get a call. If they can continue to lock down Puppey, this would be a big kill, but none of their disables can get there in time. Bibber did not have the Blink Dagger up, so Secret will manage to escape. Navi unable to get, they really needed a pick off so they can maintain some sort of aggressive force. Mid-1 was dead, but that's not the case here. And
Bit of an interesting, go back to the Shadow Blade General, interesting little pickup. I feel like he got really unlucky with that Sentry Ward top lane. Like, yeah, teams are often going to push with a Sentry, but up until that point, Navi had no invis. So Sentry in lane was purely to scout out like a high ground observer ward or something. It's like it wasn't even in a position to scout out the high ground observer ward, which teams often have when they're defending high ground. So I feel like that was a pretty good play of his to pick up a Shadow Blade to try invis into that fight. Secret just happened to be ready for it with a Sentry Ward, despite there being no invis.
General knows he can't just go on the Medusa, right? He's got to get the back line. That's been a problem for most of Navi. It's why these smoke initiations are oftentimes the most successful. Not sure if this one's going to be, though. They're going to go on a Pylai Dive first. Swap back. IMP's right in the middle of all these heroes. So is Mid-1. Well, he immediately goes and targets General first with all this damage. Good Sonic Wave. The back line. Pycat does manage to kill Pylai Die. He now focuses on Kezu. Can't quite get him, though. Too mobile. And he's now locked in by the Dream Coil. Armen tries to come in, give him some relief. The Crush comes in a bit too late, though. 70 seconds on the clock for Pycat. RMN, a similar scenario here. General comes in with the Blade Belt, does manage to finish off MP, and Mid-1's running out of mana. But do they have the juice to finish him off? A little bit more of a juke, and they get him. Finally, General must manage to bring him down with the Culling Blade. They're going
going to pursue for more now with the Shadow Blade and Blue Dagger. Puppey gets spotted out. Shikuchi stolen by Biver, but he is too quick, and it looks like Kezu is going to be able to get away from Dendi as well. Another surprising engagement. The smoke push out by Navi does result in a pretty deep trade-off.
It's one of those things, if Navi can keep buying time, I feel like they've got one last like good peak for their lineup. Like I don't think they're going to win the like super late game, but if they can get Dendi to level 25, get that spell lifesteal going with an Octarine core, and the other item I think is the Aghanim Scepter on Pycat's first. So if they can get those two things happening, they'll reach another like kind of decent power spike where perhaps they'll be able to fight into Team Secret. If they can keep getting these jumps on the back lines, like ideally the Weaver, the other big hero is the Puck, as you kind of saw in that high ground defense earlier. If you can kill these heroes at the start of the fights with your Slaughter and your Axe initiations, things could start going all right for Navi. They have, we've seen a couple of times, they can deal with DOTA. They just can't attack her first. She's going to be the last hero you go for. Similarly, MP, I feel like you can't be fighting him at the start of the fight. He's got the Solar Crest, the Hurricane Pike, he's got good mobility. You've got to ignore these two carries. It's very counterintuitive for most lineups. Like you want to kill the mid or the carry first. Like these are the problem heroes. But with this secret draft day heroes, you've just got to ignore because of the time lapse and because of just how much like utility these other heroes like the Weaver and the Puck offer in these fights.
Yeah, Kezu's going to be even higher priority and even more rewarding to kill because of a Scythe of Ice pickup that he's working towards. Again, any sort of quick initiation, if they could just eliminate all that net worth from him real quickly, that would be mega value. And then, as you said, Puppey, the problem heroes. That Aghanim time-lapse always ready to go. Navi might be able to sneak in a Roshan here, though, before Secret can make the rotation cross with the Corrosive Haze, Detso, and just your damage. Pycat, blame that pickup, and this could be a finished-up Ags now for Pycat. I'm not sure if saving for buyback with the Aegis is really good.
I think the position they're in is like one of those, like when you're down to racks and you're fighting a lineup that's going to scale better than you and has an advantage, saving for buyback is not something you want to do like as one of the damage deals. Like a Slaughter or an Axe save for buyback seems fine because they're the ones starting a fight and they're likely going to die when they initiate. So if they can come back and provide like a second round of control, fantastic. General is on cooldown. RMN is also on cooldown. But those are the two heroes you want to have buyback on. The Co-op, the Ursa, just buy all out if you can. Like you want to make sure you have those big items that will allow you to win a fight.
Maybe the next or general. Big key, game-changing items that have been picked up by Navi. Need that, desperately need that level 25 for Queen of Pain. That would be an upgrade, especially with this cheese. He would have such great survivability. Not be expecting there. Trying to keep top lane pushed out. They're going to cut the wave while general push. They're keeping back though, anticipating Secret to push through mid.
Yep. Mid one's got a pretty good level 25 talent himself coming soon with the 25% lifesteal. Some of these fights, I feel like if he had lifesteal in those last like 2 fights and engagements, I think he would have. I mean, he would have easily won that one before. That lifesteal would have made all the difference there, and that last fight I think would have also tipped the tide in his favor. So his level 25, it looks like he's farming ancients, he's farming neutrals. He just wants to try and finish that one up. I don't think you go for the Stone Gaze stun here.
I don't think so. I think most of the time enemy team play around the Stone Gaze enough that you can't ever level that thinking you're able to reliably get.
Yeah, and 1 second, it's not like from 3 to 4 isn't like a game changer necessarily. Whereas 25% lifesteal from 0, that's potentially gonna turn around a fight in your favor. So we'll see how Secret, they're looking to siege into an Aegis. I mean, that really shows how confident they feel their position is.
Well, those lightning procs are kind of rough. They are going to start going onto the Queen of Pain here, locked inside the Ice as well as the Coil. He is going to get a helpful force staff there from Biver, and they activate the Shrine as well. They're receiving so much damage from mid one, and it's DOTA with the bouncing lightning and all the split shot. They're all dropping low here. They need to activate another Shrine, going to throw back another Medusa illusion into the real one, but it doesn't save Biver's life. He's now down for 50 seconds, and Secret have a numbers advantage. General needs to even this out. He needs to find the right kind of initiation. They're going to start going on to him with Pycat, but geez, look at him. He doesn't do anything, and mid one just ripped him apart. Now RMN somehow gets caught in the Stone Gaze. Pycat comes back, but they're Scotty up there. He's going to be able to kite around this carry, and I think Navi, it's time to say goodnight for game one. They're down with 3 heroes, no buyback.
That douche just like walked in, fighting into an Aegis, fighting with that was 1v5ing with Bloodlust, with Lotus Orb. You can't touch mid one. You've got to find a way to get the backlines. When he's got all these buffs on him, there is absolutely nothing you can do. The time lapse is sitting behind him, and I mean the vision game in their position was such that mid one was in their face and they couldn't get past. Really well closed out by Secret. The Aegis cheese. A lot of teams would have like said, "Oh, let's just chill. Let's just wait till those expire." But Navi's like, Secret's just like, well, what are they going to do to us? We're not scared of 2 lives on a nerf, so he does 0 damage the first life. He'll do 0 damage the second life.
We'll say.
Inside the book that I wrote are all the words that we spoke, yet only with our eyes. Now is the time to choose. Somebody wins and some lose. I can see through your disguise. Lay it down, hope for something better. Looking at the clouds, the cyber and the weather. You can't keep this up. The lies are just too much. Kick back, start another fire. Looking at the clouds, making shapes that you admire. And you can't stop it now, 'cause you don't know how. You can't stop it now. We lose ourselves in the spirit of things. We lose our sight when we put our trust in things of this material world, of things that fade away. Yet we keep coming back, 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 keep coming back. Of things we know. Spirit of things, we lose our sight when we put our trust in things of this material world, the things that fade away. Yet we keep coming back, 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 keep coming back. Of things we know.
Secret, but it's not going to really tell too much about our draft. The Secret, they think the same about Weaver. Like, you pick Weaver regardless of what your opponents have. It's flexible, it supports, it offlanes, it goes carry, and it leaves you very open with the rest of your draft. So Secret not really showing their hand with their opening picks, but this has been like a recurring theme between these teams, at least, without any of like the power heroes available, the Embers, the Lone Druids. These teams generally pick fairly open heroes in the first stage, with the exception of this pick. Finally, we get something a bit different. Navi go the Magnus.
Secret, you have to wonder. Like, Pycat was probably sitting there going, "Oh, this is probably a trap," because they don't ban the Magnus, they ban the Slardor instead, and they just won game number 1. You know, Puppy apparently is not going to feel comfortable going down the same route of just drafting the same
Reserve time
as that got punished last time. So he's switching it up, right? Bans the Slardor, leaves out the Magnus, knows it's going to be picked up by Navi, and Pycat's like, he sits there thinking about it, he's like, well, honestly, we're too good with it. We're just going to go with it anyway.
Yeah, I mean, now, I think the thing for this with Puppy and Secret is you know what's coming. Like, they've got Magnus, they're going to pick some kind of melee core for Pycat, Slark, the Jug, something that can benefit from the Empower to farm faster and to just be a big have a big teamfight presence. Now you have a general idea of what the lanes look like. Pick a laning advantage for the mid lane, make sure that mid one has a good time. You can play around this very well. So I think for Secret, it's like, let's make sure they don't get to adjust and draft the same thing and then look to like do what happened in game 3 last time, while making sure like you give them something they're good at, but that you feel like you can prepare and beat.
Drafting a number of melee cores to be able to work. So
5 seconds
they thought just banning away the Jug going to suffice. That definitely Ice Stealer's still out there as well, though. I'm not sure what kind of hero I want if we're, I guess, just in the pool so far, and also very likely with that Ogre, we've Ogre has a with certain heroes. That in mind.
Yeah, so for Team Secret, another ban. I wonder if they're going to go like all out, just ban some of those Pycat heroes, the Jug, the First, the Slark type hero, or even like an Ursa with Empower can be quite strong. But again, there's enough options for Pycat that he's not worried about picking the Magnus first and having some of those partners be banned out. So things fairly open. And then for Pycat, he's got to worry about like, where's his Weaver going to go? We're going to see that pesky 4-position Weaver again. I like the 4-position Weaver against Magnus because if you're generally going to be caught, and you're going to be in the side of the fight not getting caught out. So if your teammate gets RP'd or something, you can instantly time lapse them out in the mid to late game once you farm up that Ag Scepter. That Ag's time lapse is just so good. And yeah, they actually don't bother banning another melee carry. They just take out the General Axe, which has been very good in the 2 games we've seen it in this tournament against Secret.
Yeah, I kind of like this because it's not just the general hero, but also it's an AoE disable. And I do feel like there's a lot of opportunity here for Navi to be able to get combinations here, but also it comes back to that Weaver support that you're talking about. With the Ags. With these AoE disables, that Weaver Ags may not be as powerful as we've seen it be, such as game. Navi are going to ban away the Row Ranger.
5 seconds remaining.
Some of the mid laner out there if team route, but
reserve
time. I don't know. How are you feeling? Like, would you be down with a sniper versus these Magnus lineups? It's initiation, right? But and it's kind of scary, but can it actually get all the way back there?
Doesn't look like it to me one, but I would have been down for one. I think with the range you've got, I'm fine with a sniper. I don't think I would have wanted it seen like 3rd pick. I think 4th or 5th would have made a bit more sense, but Secret seem happy going for more teamfight centric hero.
10 seconds
We saw a
remaining.
Quas Wex Invoker from mid one. In their their recent series
5
against
seconds
AdFinem, he is
remaining.
more known for the Exort Invoker. So if they decide that's going to fit this game a bit better, that may be what we see. But
Reserve time.
having defensive tools against Navi seems like a good plan in general. That was where Secret last game had the Stone Gaze, had the Swap, had the Time Lapse. They were reacting to Navi's
Team
aggression, and I think
Secret's
Quas
turn
Wex
to
Invoker
pick.
does that better than an Exort Invoker, of course. Exort is all about the offensive potential. Quas Wex is all about being disruptive and having teamfight control.
Disruption may be necessary. Navi again going for the double initiators,
10
not
seconds
terribly
remaining.
surprising. And King, they did this.
5 seconds remaining.
They've done this. Magnus thing. Give them a lot of combination, right? A lot of AoE control,
Reserve
but
time.
also it's now heavy amount of physical damage with Magnus plus whatever core, whatever right clicker they end up going for, and then the Sand King is now going to give a
10
lot of.
seconds remaining.
So Secret thought about maybe just getting and armoring up.
Navi's turn to pick.
The only solution to Bounty Hunter, though. Team Secret opting now to rotate this Weaver into more of a core role. The Lincoln's is going to be very good against the Sand. The Bounty, I
10
feel like it's very
seconds
hit
remaining.
or miss hero, and may just end up doing nothing if
5
Navi
seconds
start getting
remaining.
into that full 5-man snowball initiation mode, and Bounty Hunter doesn't get enough done in the laning
Reserve
phase.
time.
Yeah, I worry a little bit about this. Like, you need to make sure this bounty can have an impact. But Secret have been very good with their laning stage. So for Navi, I guess we saw last game where their lanes just kind of fell apart for them. Navi just did not really set them up to succeed. I think the Ursa pick also meant that they could get pressured pretty hard. So we'll see what I imagine Puppy can do on this. As much as Pilot Eye is known for the bounty hunter, I'm not sure if he's necessarily going to be playing it. But at the same time, we've seen Puppy play the Ogre and go this Solar Crest, super farmed Ogre, while there's like Pilot Eye playing a different fight position. So maybe they'll swap things up a bit. But
Team Secret
Void for
turn to
Navi.
ban.
You know,
Big
I
team
wasn't
fight.
sure about this. I mentioned Lifestealer. Void is another one of the heroes that they've run with the Magnus. But when Secret, the thing is, when it was a support Weaver,
10 seconds remaining.
the Faceless Void doesn't look as good, right? Because you have that opportunity.
5 seconds
Mags may even
remaining.
be able to move that hero outside, depending on where they were 5 seconds ago. But now it's a core
Reserve
Weaver,
time.
and
5
that gives the
seconds
Faceless
remaining.
Void lockdown a whole lot more credibility.
yeah, absolutely. I mean, they have
Navi's
lockdown all
turn
over
to
the
ban.
place, and Secret, I think, very worried about this big team fight coming their way. Are probably going to have to play a more split push oriented game. They've got the Weaver, which they may even consider running in an offlane and picking up like a carry to go with it, just so they can play like full on split push, have 3 scaling
10
cores.
seconds
They'll never.
remaining.
I don't know. Like, you can get a team fight here, but I don't feel like at any point in this game can you
5
match Navi's
seconds
team fight between
remaining.
Sand King. I mean, all 4 of these heroes have better team fight than everything Secret have outside of the Invoker. So
Reserve
you may just say,
time.
all right, screw it, let's just pick a safe, reliable carry, have Weaver play the split push game, and focus on winning the lanes and splitting Navi up so that they can't use this big team fight.
And from what do they think Navi's plan is?
I guess expecting the offlane Void. Ironman's played a lot of the Sand King, so they feel like Navi still want a faster paced, aggressive core, because the Void takes a bit of time kind of to come online. Like, you get that Chrono level 6, like, you don't necessarily have the damage to pump in yourself. Neither does Magnus. Like, currently this lineup doesn't use the Chronosphere in the early stages of the game, and then that's where PA would at least
Navi's
give
turn
you
to
a
pick.
fighting hero, not necessarily to use the Chronosphere, but to play aggressive with. So I think they're worried about Navi picking up something that can fight aggressively in early. PA, Ursa would be the other hero that comes to mind that didn't work out too well last game, but is like at least a similar style.
10 seconds remaining.
Early rotations and early fighting.
I was just wondering
5
because it was the
seconds
last time
remaining.
they ran safe lane for regular old mid map.
Reserve time.
If they continue that plan, we still have an offlaner available, but maybe they are going to switch. There's not too many offlaners left that would really promote aggression, so maybe it is better to put that Faceless Void as an offlaner and get a
Team
better
Secret's
safe lane hero,
turn to
or
pick.
put the Sand King there, I guess, and now have a nice tower pushing support and less.
Okay, so I feel like, yeah, exactly that. They wanted to make sure they have a way to win a team fight and take objectives, or if Secret
10
are playing the
seconds
split push
remaining.
game and are saying, oh, we're going to avoid your team fight, they can now punch it. through
5
having
seconds
a Lesh,
remaining.
and it does look like that puts General onto the off-lane Sand King in theory, unless we're seeing some kind of a core Lesh. Secret's last pick is going to be a more teamfight-oriented hero in the Centaur. Even the Stampede as well. Not an amazing game for Stampede by any means. Like, I don't feel like any of these heroes benefit from it all that much. Weaver has Shikuchi regardless as a carry, and Voka can generally rely on his position, his Yules, his Blink, his items to maneuver around a fight, but something that does give them a guaranteed way to start a fight off, which sometimes Secret have lacked.
The Centaur Stampede is going to look real lackluster if it's always a reactionary. If the Chronosphere or the RP or even the Burrow Strike are already laid out, it's going to look a little bit funny in the early. We'll see. Secret are obviously with a bounty hunter. They will have the vision.
10
They have
seconds
somewhat of an aggressive core in Weaver, so maybe they can be the ones to take
5
the
seconds
first
remaining.
step every single start is make. Gods, do you feel like Secret is going to be able to do that?
Prepare for battle.
Not maybe as much as last game. A lot depends on Puppey and what he can get done early on with the bounty hunter. So I guess all eyes on him. I mean, between bounty and ogre, you've got very strong laning presence from both these supports. So we'll see how they manage to do. I think Pycat's going to be kind of in a position where you just can't really harass him. He's a void. He's going to have plenty of regen. So trying to find and bully some of these supports. The Rubik, the Lesh, those are the two squishier of the supports that you want to try find some early kills on.
Interesting setup. This ward kind of wards is going to be counter. I think Puppey did manage to spot RMN as he hit high ground. Placed the ward. He just originally just placed the counter.
Yep.
That gave Puppey going to be able to counter
30
both that
seconds to battle.
as well as the Observer Ward and block out a camp. That is a very, very valuable sentry he just.
Oh yeah, did chew through double tangos to make sure he could do it quickly and get out of there, but you're not too worried about that. Navi going for a late smoke. They want to run into this bounty with Dust, find a kill. Viva's going to be the one leading the way. He's got the telekinesis, and it looks like this is likely to succeed. They're going to be running right past this Observer. Puppey sees it's empty, and there we go. Oh, they're a bit slow.
Yeah, they were just that coordination was not great. They still managed to hit the stun though. Telekinesis pull back. Could they actually finish him off though? They can't body block him, so there's no real way to generally be able to close that gap quickly. The Dust is going to wear up, and a fresh int is laid down. They are going to keep going. Jesus Christ!
On me.
All right, it's both sentries down and the Dust. They did get that first one.
Yeah, I guess it's barely worth it in the end, but yeah, that's still big investment. I feel like they were a little slow. They should have ideally been like hiding behind a tree and trying to bait Puppey in, like using fog. It's hard to do because you're not sure which direction he's coming from. It looked like they were expecting him to come from the right side, but he came from the north. But either way, to kill, they're right back bottom lane. They're already getting damage on a Kezu who gets chain stunned up by RMN in general, so.
I'm kind of down with this. It does mean Pycat is going to be looking a little bit worse for wear when it comes to farm, but very similar to last game. Hopefully they're going to be in a better situation when it comes to laning phase, but General's farm is paramount. That is really when they start moving outside of this static laning phase and start getting some things done. So I do like the fact that they're matching General in a potential 1v1 again where he can win that, but in the beginning they're going to give him that sort of RMN and actually kill power.
Yeah, no, I'm totally on board with it as well. Pycat will at least ideally be able to get XP. He can always play cat up using the Empower to help him farm. So for now, it is a bit of a tough lane. He's hoping it's going to push out with the double range creep. As Pyladai can get a side pull off, Pycat should still get some XP out of this lane. So all in all, the Navi lane setup looks better than what we saw last game.
It's going to push into towers. RMN in general putting more pressure on the Kezu, prioritizing shoving him out of lane rather than sure they get themselves. Go for the 2-minute runes. Mid lane, 11 and 5 for Dendi with the early level of Empower. He does have a pretty decent damage upgrade over mid one at level 1, but now start seeing the power. Exort. Mid one,
yes.
Poker built and Blackbeard.
Gets the second point in Exalt, making it pretty clear he will be going for some Sunstrike plays this game, and just generally the more heavy Exalt won't just go for the early Alacrity impact for Quaswex. Unless we see a double Exalt with any into Quaswex, but that doesn't seem like a... It's pretty very standard Invoker build, so... Trying to play around some of the Centaur initiations, the Ogre stuns to hit some of those Sunstrikes, and for now this mid lane with Viver's presence has been tougher than most as far as him getting farm. Dendi happy to split the XP if it means getting fast bottle, fast boots, and his early game items.
For stacks are going to be all important for the supports. Obviously, between the Tank King and the Empower, Navi have great ways to be able to clear those. They do make a go on Kezu here again. Unlikely to actually get this kill. Kezu TP out after the double stun. Morath's been dumb.
He's been fairly quiet during the early stage. He was annoying to Pycat by taking his bounty room when he fell back from the tower, but hasn't been able to help any of the lanes because of Rubik's presence mid, because of a strong dual lane down bottom with a Centaur. Like, Centaur bounty can't fight this 2v2. There isn't really an obvious lane for Puppey to help. Perhaps the best one he could have done is perhaps top. Oh, mid. Skewer back. Mid one. Then Ghost War. Wasn't quite in the tower with that skewer. Really nice attempt with that telekinesis. A mid one. Yeah, he'll still be okay. That dust coming out.
Cut off here by RMN. Very low chance he might be able to get this kill. If he hits the stun, now has to pop the Diabolic Edict afterwards with the extra nuke or the Fate Bolt. He might still be able to get this kill. Puppey comes in, soaks up some of the damage, tries to get some return kill onto RMN. Branch there for a true.
Time is money.
But nice kill on the mid one. I was just going to criticize Navi for basically setting up that kind of gank, but not having RMN pick up a TPN for the initiative.
Yes.
But they still get the kill.
Yeah, they had the dust and everything. They had all the pieces they needed, just that little bit of extra damage and lockdown. So nice move from RMN. Make sure he still gets the kill. And yeah, this lane's looking very good. Pycat not exactly farming amazingly, but he's got 11 CS against what should have been a tough lane. And they're going for it again in mid.
Round 2, no TP here. This time mid one will just throw out the tornado and try and run back, but it looks like they may have the damage anyway. Pylai stops the last right click. Dendi, can you get it? 2 seconds? No, the shockway's not going to be there in time. In fact, Viver may end up going down. Pylai is beating him. A new one. Dendi. But stop that, so this time, support that dies.
Like how he even tried to empower the Rubik to help him get that kill. Just couldn't quite get it. Nice attempt from Navi. And losing just his support for all those rotations isn't all too bad for them, considering the other lanes where they've taken the T1 bottom tower. They've almost got a kill onto Kezu. He's going to be forced to hoof stomp himself out of there. And with the stun coming up, RMN still wants this.
He just happened to hit Puppey while he's in Vizu, so Puppey couldn't even get a whole lot of damage to RMN while they made that tier 2 tower. Seems like the laning phase, maybe Secret are planning on, with this Bounty Hunter, actually getting an early lead thanks to the Bounty Hunter's presence, but it's actually been quite the opposite. Not managed to push nearly as much as the Navi supports. Now with a triple stun combination, they'll pick up Puppey as well, 4-1. MP, maybe, with a Sunstrike. RMN. Oh, his TP was just about to complete.
Oh.
It was so close, but not close enough.
And Vivid does not have a TP, so do not see a good escape for him. Does have a telekinesis. Push MP back, but no TP still.
General, he would have to be there just to give Biver a chance, and he doesn't want to risk.
Yeah.
Losing the supports is all good as long as they don't lose their cores, especially General's farm.
Yep.
Most important thing for now.
He didn't have any points in Sandstorm, so it was like, you go in, you're committed there. So he falls back. Navi going to smoke up. They've got the level 6 on Pycat, so he may not have any farm, but they still feel like they can use this trio to find a kill, ideally on the Invoker.
They're not able to clip Puppey with that one. They may still be able to bring mid one down. They'll hit the stun as the Chronosphere fades back, and there's going to be a lot of Secret heroes to be able to respond. Dendi managed to get a really good RP, though. No turnaround, though. RMN is going to get burned out from the Ignite. Unfortunately, would have been a nice combo stun, but Dendi mostly there using the RPs. Most of his allies from going to town for the Invoker and just trade RMN away.
Yeah, close seeing the supports there, but Lesh didn't have another stun or anything. They stacked the telekinesis a bit with the less stun. Maybe if they actually save one of those spells, they could have comboed with the RP. But either way, they just wanted to make sure they killed the Invoker as fast as possible, seeing all those TPs come in. He's got no mana, but looks like he'll be okay.
The plan was to actually just roll on, rotate around mid-1 and go for a dive. You see how much they're putting priority in shutting him down. Oh, yeah. Multiple rotation. River.
Yeah, I think there's a play to shut down on Secret. I think mid-1 is the play to look at. Much like General for Navi is probably the play you want to shut down. That's why Navi are happy to send Pycat to the offlane. Like, he's playing a hero that was initially run more often in the offlane than the carry role. At least over the last couple of years, so it's not a problem for that, and he can always transition later on.
My God, so it looks like all those presumptive Reddit posts about 7.0 are right. Offlane is the new safe lane.
Yeah. Well, not in the sense he's necessarily getting farmed, but yeah. No, how safe he's. I mean, he's not dying because he's.
River, I'm sorry, dude. Your rotations, they're good in the beginning, but this time around,
yeah,
we caught 5-5. Are beginning to get a read on what Navi's shenanigans are going to be in this lane.
They've got good vision up now, like around that mid lane, the bottom river, so they're catching Rubik first, rotating up towards that top shrine, then going down bottom there. It looked like just trying to get an aggressive ward up, but if you've got wards up in the area first, you see those supports coming in and trying to find those pickoffs. So Secret going the aggressive again. MP's been very active. Definitely been impressed by him this first on the Venge, and now on this Weaver. He realizes they've had a bad landing stage. He TP's bottom. He comes mid. He is the one trying to create space to help mid-1 get his Midas up and to put pressure onto Navi.
Okay. He still be successful. It's been popped on NP, but Pylai Die is in position to make a goal here on RMN. RMN has his ult up, so at least he'll get some damage in return. Might be enough to actually kill Pylai Die. With the Diabolic Edict damage still going out and a shockwave coming in from Dendy of his rotation. They do get a turnaround one support for
Alright. Not all too bad. Navi did bring the Magnus in for that, although it looked like Dendy was just in the neighborhood farming anyways. He's gone back for an Iron Talon, going to be rushing an Echo Saber. He's going a more farm-oriented build himself, where he can actually dish out some good damage. And Cronus here at bottom, they've caught MP.
Oh, look at that, General.
Great play. Yeah.
It's the Caustic Finale creeps and finishes up with a Pro Strike, meaning Dendy's influence not even needed.
He's going straight into the Aether Lens. Interesting option, not what you normally see on Sand King.
I'll take your tribute.
He doesn't want to snipe that rune. Not in front of a potential rotation.
RMN playing around with Ancients. I didn't really know that was an option for Electric and support, and maybe RMN didn't know it was an option either. Starts backing away from that. While Dendy does get found, taking away that bounty rune. Think anything's gonna fire Centaur's TP. Seconds.
Yeah, at this point, I think Secret need to prioritize perhaps getting Kezu a blink, since he's going to be their mid-game way of approaching fights and to find pickoffs. Like, yeah, you're not going to be able to necessarily out team fight Navi, but ideally you need to be able to make smokes and make some smoke ganks and find some pickoffs to disrupt Navi's like snowball, as far as just they could go from tower to tower, pushing them down using the edict based on their team fight strength. So I think having a centaur to find pickoffs is going to be key for them. He has queued up the hood though, so it doesn't look like he wants to rush into it, which means Secret are going to be playing like a very more slow-paced, farming-oriented game if they're not going for the play.
If they do still catch Dendy, he actually tried to skewer up in order to get away from all this, but he was pretty tanky. I thought he was going to be good walking away, but he ends up getting his TP canceled, and now he's just going to lead them on a merry chase. Mid-1 will not be able to claim them out.
Yeah, the Stampede to help get... I don't know if he gets that Fire Blast off without the Stampede, so... fitting pause time. Unfortunate for Navi, but as it stands, it's still in a pretty good position overall. Like the farm on Sand King, this is very good. Void's in a position where number 5 on net worth for now, but that can very quickly change. A couple of successful fights if he just gets some alone time to farm, and he is going back for a Midas now, so catch up Midas will allow Pycat to get caught back up. He's got support at this top lane, perhaps looking to bait the Faceless Void.
No, I wonder how Secret will respond to this, because they can't efficiently trade just because they don't really have the same kind of building hitters. Weaver's okay thanks to an early blight zone and this Bloodlust, but it's not really going to be comparable to RMN and Right. At what point does Secret start fighting these pushes? That is also an inherent danger. Navi's early.
Yeah, and right now Navi's doesn't even have to push with all 5 heroes. They're pushing with 4. Secret decide they want to try and punish that, but I think even a 4v5, Navi do very well here because no chrono yet. And if they get the chrono up, then they can do well.
General at least does manage to stop NP's rotation. His TP does manage to get there out there in time. Makes sense. Up just being a 3 versus 4 on top where Navi walk away. And the mine now being finished up by Pycat off of the neutrals, so start climbing back into that net worth chart. He's been playing the off laner during the laning phase, didn't really get much, but you can see even before the Midas, he's sitting at 4.1k, not too far behind both MP and Mid1 at this point. Dendi. Oh, nice attempted play there from Mid1 with the preemptive Sunstrike to get him during skewer, but not go that direction.
Yeah. You feel it. Even if I guess if it landed, perhaps they would have committed more to it, but it looks like they were lacking. Void, Chronosphere up top, finds Kezu with RMN. Navi just execute. The beauty of their lineup with all these big teamfight spells is you can use a Chrono for a solo kill. You're quite happy chronoing 1 core hero and backing off, being a single hero. You've got so many big teamfight spells that you don't have to land 3 4-man Chronos or 3 4-man RPs in this game. You can use each big ultimate to kill 1 hero. Get a solo kill with an Epicenter, get a solo kill with a Chrono, and you already have a numbers advantage to win a fight.
Right, congrats. You got the vision on General. What are you going to do with it?
Yeah.
3 out of Dust, 3 out of Sentry. Got a track on him, but all of it is going to have a pretty good... Seems like you would think that you'd be a little bit more experienced with Secret seem to be underestimating the tanking of the mid Magnus, especially with this build that he goes for. The strength treads, and then he usually picks up Echo Saber, which he has now. Magnus is actually very hard to initiate on, just because he is unnaturally tanky. And is usually
Yeah, we saw it at the Ancients when they find him, but they can't even bring him down, so... Yeah, Dendi just going to use this build to continue getting a bit more farm on himself. Pycat actually doesn't end up going for the Midas. It looks like he's picked up a Maelstrom, so perhaps the word is like, I think Navi are probably feeling like after these last couple fights in towers, they've gotten very easy, like they're a lot stronger than Secret, so they'd rather press their advantage. Get a more aggressive fighting item, damage item for Pycat. It's also a pseudo-farming item the way Midas works. You can farm lanes a lot faster. Like I saw Pycat creep skipping the top tower and he farmed so slowly. This Maelstrom means he can actually be away from the Magnets and still farm at a decent rate.
Yeah, I'm thinking if he was maybe farther behind in this game, then maybe the Midas would fit, but I think you're right in saying Navi have done good enough in the laning phase, they can push this advantage and for you. Getting you some damage. They're going to be able to get the epicenter combination onto Kezu. Kezu does have the Hood of Defiance, but this much magic damage is still going to overwhelm him. Now, Sunstrike comes in, unfortunately on the wrong target. General will be trying to tank it, and he lives through it all.
TP mid, they want their shrines. MP is camped on the high ground. General. Uh-oh.
General's going to be gone. He's definitely dead. Dendi is still in the neighborhood, but not going to make the rotation up. I thought maybe we'd see some sort of RP TP play, but Navi just going to lit there. Their offlaner died. Not a big deal. The other two more than enough arm, as is the 4 position support. Leshrac is getting a decent.
Dire's middle tower has been denied.
He needs to transition and get some, at least, items to help him survive in these fights. Leshers always need to be in the front lines. That's how you do damage through your Edict and your Pulse Note. So that's where having an undefined Lesh is not going to work for you. So Navi be looking to utilize the blink timings now. Both Sanking and Magnus will have theirs at a fairly similar time. And a bit slower than perhaps you'd normally see from a Sanking or a Magnus in their 1v1 matchups, just because they've gone for these farming items. I think Navi are like, well, we can get blinks at 11, 12 minutes in, but we'd rather fight around the 16, 17 minute stage where we've got more overall farm, more levels. They've got level 2 ultis, they've got a level 11 Lesh, you've got maxed out Edicts, so they're overall stronger through their levels when they get their blinks, and they're not going to try and force plays around blink daggers when they're not ready to fight.
Kind of surprising me that RMN for the plus 15 movement speed. 125.
Huh.
If that was like, you know, plus 8 strength or something, I'd be like, okay, you know, maybe that's just not enough 8.
To the impurity.
Mobility is survivability in some cases. So.
Yeah. Well, I guess
125
all his
is decent
teammates, his teammates will all have blinks and he won't, so he wants to be able to just like kind of keep up. Like when they initiate him with the blink down, he wants to make sure he's in range to get off the like a follow-up stun. But I definitely agree. I think the more standard would be going for the health.
Big play from General. He was farming out his blink tag on the bottom lane, and they started going on him. They had Ignite, they had Swarm, and he runs into the jungle, picks up from the side chop his dagger, instantly TPs
Nice.
and gets the distance.
Well played from him. Puppey is getting down some deep wards. Secret have constantly had very good vision this game, thanks to Puppey. But they haven't really had the early game impact from his support bounty that they did from his Weaver. He's been in 5 of these kills, but it is still a lane state hasn't gone as great for Secret. They've got mid one up like back on top of the net worth though, so despite the early pressure onto him, he's just played PvE for the most part and has managed to farm himself up a Link. He's close to an Aghanim Scepter as well to go with his Midas, and that's at least putting him in a position to succeed in the late game. We may find this Courier.
Radiant's courier has
He
been
got
killed.
it. Oh, barely thanks to this ward right here. Navi are going. Roshing though. Okay.
Strength renewed.
High cat.
I'll take your tribute.
They'll have a lot better time, a lot more confidence. Against initiations, team fights, Secret are just gonna have to go for a heavy amount of slip. Not sure if they can beat Navi, even if they execute really well, unless they can beat Navi in a 5-man.
Yeah, I do not think so either. And even Invoker gets his Ags, he gets a bit more team fight presence. He's still like, for an Invoker, lower level than you want to be to start taking big 5-on-5 engagements. Pycat finds...
Oh god, I can see it coming too. Ooh. Oh no. Well, that's a Chronosphere down. The battle of the counter wards results in a big win for Secret. Here I thought this was just gonna be a minor. No big deal. Congrats, you counter to counter. What's the deal about that? But ulting counter. At the center being drawn up here. Here comes RMN charging in, trying to finish off with that Burrow Strike, but the Stampede comes in. Unfortunately, that plus 15 movement speed just wasn't enough. General's now been caught by the track. They're going to be chased down. MP will go for RMN. Will Kezu put a stomp onto General. TP out from RMN will be successful, but that turnaround was big for Secret.
Yeah, that there is why you want more movement speed as a less, so you can get in for that follow-up stun, but he just still wasn't quite fast enough to get that Split Earth to follow up the Epicenter combo. General perhaps misjudging, wherever the communication was, it was slightly misjudged about when to initiate in, because you need to make sure Leshrac has the follow-up stun there, because that Stampede allows Invoker to disengage.
Radiant's top tower
Fiercely beating on that tier 2 tower. Got Biver behind him, watching the shrine to make sure that if there are heavy TP rotations, they'll know about it. Gonna start setting up for defense of the tier 1 at top. Under the tier 2, leaving the tier 1 DP open.
A golden beautiful.
Yep. Doesn't look like anyone's going to force too much. Navi just back to their jungle. They're going to continue farm up. Dendy's blink, but hasn't found too much off of this just yet. He's very high level and has a lot of farm though. Like he's almost got a BKB to follow this one up. So top of the net worth Magnus. This is not the Magnuses you normally expect to see out of like your melee carry draft. Normally you think more like utility Magnus, you're just helping your carries farm, but this Magnus is prioritizing his own farm. This is how Dendy's been playing it the few times he runs it, and I definitely prefer it. Like you can help your teammates farm from time to time, but Pycat's been pretty self-sufficient, Zanking General's been self-sufficient. Dendy can have a very big late game impact by having this BKB Echo Saber of his own.
Yeah, the Echo Saber felt like a big change for a lot of strength here, but it seems like as time has gone on, it's been the Magnus. Pycat is going to be gone on here. There goes that Aegis. Secrets are going to try and make another go here. Now, they do not have the Stomp, but they will have the track to be able to keep top of Pycat, it seems. Chronosphere laid out. He's going to go and try and get to the other side, but Kezu's on top of him. Does manage to get the Magnus. And Pycat's TP cancelled. Secret are finding pickoff after pickoff. They are managing to run Navi around the map, separate them, and then find these very key kills.
Yeah, this is play from Secret to get themselves, I mean, kind of back in this game. They're not really that out of it. They're just playing the slower paced game. They're playing the farm game, so it kind of appears, I guess, on the surface, they're like, oh, Navi's doing more, they're pressuring the lanes, they're the ones who are initially getting more of the kills, but Iron Man at top.
Strike it down. Great combo. Yeah. Viver does manage to split stomp that will lead into General hitting a stun as well, but Kezu is very tanky. He's got Hooded Defiance as well as a point booster. Viver's now going to be blasted down by mid one. Double kill for them. Also track kills going the way of Secret. General's now been spotted. Great tornado from mid one. He does manage to get a burrow strike TP out. Okay.
Sunstrike just coming back up there, but yeah, that's the big thing here. It's like you're finding these picks as Secret. It's not just buying you time to farm, but you're getting extra bonus gold from the track. They are looking very good as a result of that. MP's gone straight into a BKB. I feel like we often talk about Weaver builds because we're seeing so many Weaver builds, Weaver picks, but this is a new build for us to try and figure out.
Yeah, and he doesn't go, he started going for it, Perseverance, and then just holds it at that and is going to try and finish. So I think part of it was that if there was not so much successful split pushing Secret, the Desolator wouldn't have as much value, and you need that extra to prevent initiation. But Navi, they actually are getting kind of run around, and they got a lot of tier 2 damage there in the bottom lane. General's going to go for an epicenter on a Pylai die. Now this time around, it doesn't look like a Stampede will save him, but in the end, it's Pylai die. That guy's literally known for dying. He's okay. Pycat actually jumping forward, away from the hood stop. They're going to be controlled up by the Cold Snap, though he's too far forward, and gets picked apart. Secret, you take the Ogre, we'll take the Void every single day of the week.
Pretty cool stomp dodge. I think it's probably intentional. Like he's queued it up. Like, okay, if I get dodged, I have to time walk immediately. If I get blinked on, and he's already facing forward, but does it into 3 or 4 heroes. So unfortunately, the cooldown does not play into his favor to come back up in time to save his life, and didn't have a chrono to play around. But consecutive kills onto the Void. That is a big concern. There's been a few kills onto the Lesh, who really needs some farm progression as well to turn into at least a pseudo core and be a bit tankier and hard to deal with. And Navi may lose General as well.
Yep. Sunstrike, Meteor, mega kill streak for mid-1. This Invoker getting out of control. They're shutting down. You're pointing out they're shutting down all the right heroes of Navi, and vice versa is not true, right? Navi has continued to fail to gank the Invoker, have failed to gank most of the cores for the most part. Like, they haven't touched MP, and even Kezu, who should be ideally one of the easier heroes. Last time they went on him, it was actually a turnaround. They got RMN killed.
Navi just haven't been able to like force those fights that they'd like with Chrono and RP. I mean, we've seen Dendi really do very little to get involved. He has prioritized his own farm and is scaling well. You've got to worry that if I think Navi were playing this farming efficiency game but not getting picked off, like trading farm with Secret, you'd be okay with it, but they're getting picked apart. They're losing the Void, and his farm has really suffered as a result. Just 9.5k net worth. There's going to be a lot of pressure on Dendi in the late game to hit RPs, to get kills for his team. His talents are amazing for getting kills, which is why we're seeing this Magnus build. 25 attack speed, 50 damage. You can get some strength if he wants even more damage, but it's a Secret draft where they seem to be able to maneuver around the teamfight spells of Navi, so it's easier said than done to land those spells later on.
Poor Dendi has so much pressure on him. Like, all of his cores are getting picked off. His forward position that's supposed to scale isn't really getting there either. He just picks up the Yule Scepter, but he's well behind even Bounty Hunter and Centaur, so much responsibility is on his shoulders now to get the right kind of initiation needed to turn this game around.
They smoked underneath the ward.
Is under attack.
At least it looked like it was underneath the ward. Pilot actually teeped in up here. Right, very close to
taking it.
Yeah, that
typical
looks to be the case.
MP, oh my god. Alright, Viver's got that blink dagger, he'll send it back, he'll get the stun follow up, and everything is a-okay again in Navi's mind, but that was not the ideal smoke for them. And Secret, they get a lot done in the meantime. They get the bottom lane push out, they take a tier 2 for a tier 2. Navi are going to try and threaten a high ground to see if they can force MP back, but they really can't. Not against this Invoker.
Yeah, very, very difficult. Don't really see that. At most, you get Secret to see themselves home, so it does look like that's going to be the case for the most part. General then just goes back. Jungle to keep on farming. Navi want to kind of maintain some map control around this area. They've got good deep wards at the top and middle side of the map. Secret more interested in this bottom side. They know Void just TP'd down here to farm. They smoke up very quickly to get down there to try find that pickoff. But this time around, it looks like Pycat is at least somewhat aware of what is going on and coming his way.
That's a big pickup, especially since he's the one holding the gem, but they are not going to run it.
Yeah, he saw the Mud Golem, which Puppy is using as like a scouting tool, but he still gets found here.
General.
It's hard. It like, I guess from like an observer point of view, it looks like Navi just keep getting picked off alone, but that really is the power and the beauty of this bounty hunter who is constantly scouting out, finding these picks. I mean, Secret, testament to them, they are just playing very well to find these kills. These are not easy kills to get. They're moving very aggressively on the map and not hesitating. Like as soon as they lose that top tower, they're smoking from top to bottom to get in that Radiant jungle again.
Middle tower has
With
fallen.
that pickoff, Desolator takes apart the tier 1 tower. Now Dandy may be kind of bad position. Good skewer across to the side. Well played. He was being rapidly surrounded. That was only escape. Here comes that Mud Golem. Undernet Navi. They immediately back out. They said the Golem, that was a harbinger of death last time for Generals, so everyone run away from that guy.
It's like a second bounty hunter. That's the crazy thing. It's the bounty hunter without the spells. But right now, bounty's main job is to scout out enemies and set up kills for his team. That Mud Golem does the same thing with no risk of it dying. Like if it dies, you don't lose anything. If Puppy dies, it's a bigger deal. And if the Golem finds someone, then Puppy can then go in and follow it up for a track. So you can really see the power of the Helm of the Dominator in use and why Puppy wants to go for it on his bounty hunter.
Thought he could push into the Dire jungle. Maybe that was miscommunication. Maybe he thought his allies were him and they were just going to charge into the Dire jungle. Case, they stay on the shrine. One is out around the Roshan area, knowing that this is probably going to be part of the game. Get an initiation on a highlight die, so one support picked off, the other one may not die here. Kezu actually managed to get the stun onto Dendy. Dendy invised up, but they do have a vision of him. He starts getting away. Nice Chronosphere. Pycat locking in 4. They're going to be able to get the Burrow Strike off that with the RP. 4 down from Secret. That'll open up Roshan finally. It wasn't Dendy who found the initiation, but Pycat who redeems himself with a game-changing opening.
Yeah, I feel like so many of these Navi Magnus games, like Dendy will have a pretty quiet game and hit one huge up to win in the game. That was all Pycat. What a Chronosphere. And well played by Sankey to make sure he lined the Burrow Strike. Because of the way they were positioned in the Chrono, Dendy couldn't get that 3-man RP until that Burrow Strike came into play. So made sure he blinked right into the middle of the Chrono to get the follow-up RP to help with the Burrow Strike, and absolute cleanup by Navi. They get the big team fight, they secure themselves Roshan, and that is what their lineup has been looking to do for quite some time.
Puppy's farming the neutrals going, God damn it, guys. Are you going to let that team fight happen? Now I've got to farm and do something because you guys seem to get caught in their AoE. We've got so many items flooding in now for Navi. We've got Yule Scepter for Sand King. Pycat's going to finish up a BKB, so finally he gets to be able to have a quick reaction response to the Centaur's initiation when he does stomp and he doesn't have to time walk into death anymore. And then Dendy, looks like Dendy has queued up an Orchid. We'll see if he actually continues down that trajectory or not, but I do like the idea.
Yeah, this is, I think Dendy's almost always doing this kind of a build. I don't know if he always goes to Shadowblade before the Orchid, but the few like core Magnus games I've seen, he goes for the right click, he transitions into this Orchid later on, and just goes for this very aggressive style of play. So he is in full force right now. Plus 15 strength tap means he's tankier and even gets more damage out of this. Gets the bonus damage from the Empower on that strength as well. So this is going to be a tough Magnus to deal with.
It's hitting pretty hard.
He does more damage than Void theoretically in a team fight with his right clicks, I would say. Secret are gonna have to be careful. I mean, they've had like a good streak of getting pickoffs and like without getting caught in that big team fight combo, but that's gonna make them think maybe twice now. Back to the split push, use the Stampede as a saving tool. It's an Ag Stampede, so you've got that damage block if like one of your cores like a Weaver or Invoker gets gone on. It can block the damage while perhaps getting them out to safety. But immediately upon winning that fight, Navi is back, pressing forward, have RP back up. The Epicenter, the Chrono back up in 15 seconds as well. Navi want to force this.
One pops his head out. That is nothing more than a tornado to dispel that double damage that was seen on Pycat. They are going to try and come forward here. They do manage to hit the stun. Pycat doesn't actually get off BKB fast enough, but he does have that second life. And he gets off BKB his zone. He actually charges forward here through Navi's lineup, trying to go on for Bibber here, but he does get
bash.
Oh! That was a well-timed bash, and RP almost finished him off, but Dendi does manage to hold on to it as the time lapse complete. Dendi with his Shadow Blade in a position. Nice double stun out from General on the Puppy and Pylai die. That telekinesis is going to be thrown into Pi. They are going to get that two-man Chronosphere. Now Dendi still waiting for his opportunity to catch some of the cores. The supports aren't going to end up going down. Finally, the RP's laid out. It's going to be on mid one. They want to stop this big damage dealer. Another great burrow strike out from General. Hits Kezu as well on this side. Can they hit it with the skewer? They've got him. Bowls right into him. Kezu going to be stopped from being able to TP out. That will be a track kill for Navi since Bibber had that one stolen away from Puppy. 4 down from Secret once again.
General's going for the Epicenter bottom. He wants MP. He'll get him, I think.
No! MP, is that going to be... Oh my god, it's
so
the last bit of damage. He gets the time off.
He would have been on like 50 HP. Yeah, that was the full wipe he went for. I love the call from General. He sees him, tracked up bottom. It was a Rubik stolen track, I guess, and just TP's down there looking for that kill. Either way, Navi wiped them and are looking to do some damage here. They need to be careful about the respawns because they won't have ultimates. Or they... Oh yeah, they still won't have their big ultimates for a little bit of time, but... These are, like, now that we're kind of in the late game, like the RP, the Chrono, it feels like you use one, you win a fight, they're back up within the next minute or so.
Oh, another two-man stun from General. He just doesn't stop. The skewer back on the Puppy. Freebie for Navi on their way out.
They may just try Shrine up, wait these cooldowns, and go again now if they want to. Navi's finally seem to be hitting their stride here in the mid-game.
Oh, gods. I thought you were right. You know, they got punished once by the big team fight, so time to push. Secret choosing to fight again in the mid lane, and you could see the power of Navi's lineup. They're able to chrono 2 supports, and it doesn't really matter because they still have an RP. They're able to RP mid one by himself, but it doesn't matter because 2 supports are already dead, and General's over there, you know, stunning 2 people at a time with every single burrow strike. They can afford to use these big team fight ultimates for very small picks in big 5-man engagements because they've got so many to utilize.
I think it was a very clear team decision from Navi as well, because Dendi stayed there invis while Pycat was fighting in the Chronosphere. Dendi didn't even try and come out to use a single spell or throw any damage until he saw Invoker. His entire game plan that fight was to just find an RP mid one. If you get mid one plus other heroes, great. If you don't, doesn't matter. As long as he RP'd mid one, that was his job that fight. Pycat's job was to start the fight. Chrono, 1, 2 heroes, however many you can get, to bait mid one in. And they pulled mid one in, he gets taken out, and once mid one's dead, that any damage up when Secret's fight is completely reduced to next to nothing. The Invoker is really the majority of their team fight, and Navi are ready to go again. They've got ultimates once more.
No Generals in here. Do they really want to make this initiation? They do manage to catch Pycat. They do hit General and pull up with a Meteor. Now, the ultimate's going to be laid out by Pycat. He's going to finish off MP. Does he have the damage? No, the time lapse goes off again. He gets a bash, though, double bash, and he does manage to finish off. Kezu going to be caught by a Burrow Strike. Puppy's up next. Bibber right in front of his face. Looks like they're going to be able to get that kill. Nice turnaround by Puppy. That's a track kill as well. But in the end, Rubik is the only one who goes down, and Secret lose 3. Again, choosing to fight into Navi. Are they going to do it again and again and again?
Dendi's got the RP. He's looking for mid one. Does he go for the blink in? They've held RP and Epicenter right now, so there's still a lot of teamfight potential. This Navi side, Chrono, 60 seconds away. Can still force this one, knowing that the Centaur and Weaver are dead.
Popped out, Tier 3 will be finished off by the Illusions and the Diabolic Edict of RMN. Mid 1 will attempt to scare them back with an EMP, and it looks like it's done its trick with 15 seconds left. for the NP Weaver. Navi will back away and deal with this bottom lane push.
Yeah, it feels like Navi happy to take a more calculated approach, recognize that their lineup can still scale very well to the late game, not by having like a carry advantage, just because of all these team fights. It's going to always be damned impossible for mid one to fight. There's no real eye that you can get to save yourself against a Chronosphere or an RP. It's just going to come down to positioning and how you play it, and he's looking to play it by finding a free pick. Biva, bottom lane, can't do a whole lot against the Lincoln Sphere, and forget shots.
Gets him a little bit closer to that Octarine. But all the items in the world won't change the fact that Dendi is very clearly trying to play a neutralizer. They can catch Pylai Die here. The Stampede goes off, slows some of them down. They do manage to kill Pylai Die here. The RP goes out from Dendi, but not feeling comfortable. He's going to try and skewer out. Blinks away. He's good. Still with the BKB. Mid one's going to try and hunt him down still. He does have the Blink Dagger and Cold Snap up, but nighttime vision and a tier 2 tower will keep mid one from pursuing.
Couple of kills there, catching Navi a bit split up. Like they find the Rubik at bottom, which doesn't seem like a big kill, but it just means that once they find one more pick off, suddenly you've got a big numbers advantage. The 5v3.
Oh,
Pycat one's in, but
he's got the BKB. If he can finish off NP inside this Chronosphere, he had a hard time last time with the Burrow Strike Epicenter coming in. That'll make it a whole lot easier. Pycat jumps forward, tries to go for more here, slowing down Puppy with the time dilation. Kendu helps him out. They're going to turn, try and pull up Pycat. They've got him. The BKB used inside the Chronosphere leads Pycat to his own death. Pursues out too far. Turned around on this time. Secret finally making a good exchange.
Yeah, that Pycat just getting a bit too overzealous there, knowing he's like, oh, I've killed the Weaver, let's just chase for more. I can see this bounty, and he, in his chase, loses the gem there as well. Is bad news for Navi, losing that detection for both the Weaver and the Bounty Hunter. Cat will be probably getting reprimanded for that one later on, but at Sans, this game's still very winnable for Navi. Just need to find that big team fight that we've seen a few times from them.
Tier 2s. Here.
Radiant's top tower.
30 seconds timer of Pycats. Look like they feel anyone's gonna pop his head out. They do feel comfortable. Is coming back.
Radiant's middle tower is under attack.
I wonder if there's any consideration towards getting a Ags on Weaver, like in the late game. Yeah, MPs needs to do damage, but at the same time, like against all these big team fight spells, being able to save someone like mid one with an Ags time lapse seems like a very useful thing to have. Like to me, Ags Weaver is like almost a necessity to be able to push and fight into Navi, unless you're finding pickoffs. Problem is, it's MP playing the like free roll and not really an item you want to buy as a Weaver.
All over the Roshan pit, and going to be turning. They don't know that they did get a successful scan around the Roshan pit. The Secret aren't actually there. Trying to make their way over. Here it is being done right now. On up for another minute.
Rubik gets his Ag Scepter, so see what he can manage to steal in these upcoming fights. And the focus spells, the Centaur Stun or Stampede would be really nice. The track we've seen a few times get stolen as well. Just the Bloodlust. Bloodlust onto your Magnus or your Void. At least at the start of the fight could be pretty handy to have. But right now, Navi really need to regain this map control. Losing that gem now also means that there's these deep observer woods up right outside their base. They're starting to ping them, and it seems like they know they've got a new gem on General, so... well, it's an old gem of Pylai Dies. It looks like the two teams have swapped gems. This will take away some of that Navi vision, and Navi need that vision to find and isolate these heroes for pickoffs, because that's how they approach these fights. They've got to burst one down at the start of the fight, outside of like the big team fight spells, before they can look to approach Navi head on.
Dendi will now finish up that Orchid. Still has enough for buyback. Navi check the pit. Roshan is up. They can try and do it with... unfortunately, Pycat doesn't have any life steals, so he doesn't have a whole lot of sustain, but they might just be able to do it with one or two inside the pit. Surrounding, but I guess with MP bottom...
Yeah, Secret have lost their vision completely in the area, so... just due to the map control concerns, it's not worth contesting, and you try and fight around your high ground advantage if Navi try and press the issue. Off of this, they've got Aegis and Cheese on Pycat though, so he's that frontliner who often has been able to get burst down by like a well-timed stomp into Invoker combo. May cease case though due to these new pickups.
One looks for another pick, but Puppey does see a couple of rotating heroes. Highlight Dice going to be jumped on by the Burrow Strike. They're going to be a little follow-up that's done. Bivert gets picked up in the meantime. MP still trying to fight this one out with RMN with his physical damage, and now a 2-man tornado into the Sunstrike. Sunstrike not really hitting there. RMN used his own Yule Scepter to try and buy himself time, but he is still going to go down. But on the other side of things, Kezu is being very disruptive. Right in front of all of Navi, does manage to disrupt them and keep them from pursuing the rest of Secret. And it looks like they're low enough HP. They can't actually do much here. Pycat's trying to turn. Does have the Aegis, but he doesn't really have the mana to back it up. He does get a time lapse off. Does a lot of damage, but as an EMP coming in, Pycat's just going to pop the BKB, hoping to save the Aegis for another time, but a Sunstrike, oh, a little bit too far forward. Mid one misses that one, but Kezu does manage to hit him with the Chivas. Pycat does get a little bit more distance with the time walk, but his silence comes out. Surely they're going to be able to get Pycat 25 HP. The Aegis stays alive somehow for Navi.
I can't really blame Secret for not chasing Kameen for that. They're so afraid and respecting the Dendi RP. If they somehow dive or group up a little bit, if Dendi's blink is up and he gets that 2-man RP, suddenly there's a turn. Suddenly Void, he may have 20 HP, but if both those heroes are RP'd, he can turn, fight, cleave him down. Same for the Magnus, so showing some respect there to what Dendi can pull out. And it was a very disconnected fight because there was the fight in the bottom lane, the fight around the shrine. The two supports, both Rubik and Ogre, just seem to be getting bullied every single time of the fight, although Pilot somehow still survive. Biver just seems to be getting picked apart. It's a very hard game to play because there's Bounty, Weaver, there's all these gap closers. It's so hard to stay hidden as a Rubik, and getting any spells in these fights seems to be very challenging for him.
Smoke tap.
Smoke into the Aegis. They want to catch Navi by surprise. Get that jump.
Mid one is going to confront the rest of them, and it looks like Secret are going to wrap around here. They might catch RMN, they might not. Feeling that.
Oh, Courier.
Initiation.
Radiant's courier has been killed.
That's the Pycat Lincolns. And
he really needs that Lincolns.
I don't think they want to fight straight 5v5, so they're going to go for the split push mid one, Forward Spirit's Alacrity will threaten the high ground while Navi threaten the tier 2 tower. So yeah, Navi will have to back off for this. For now, only TPing a Rubik, so they've still got 4 heroes down the bottom. Theoretically could take a 4v5 fight. They TP out
possible. They've got the vision. General's sitting on the high ground with a ward.
They don't want to go high though.
Yeah, he's not the hero they want to go on. They do see Kezu here, and they're going to chrono Kezu. Now, trying to blow him up inside of this one, make sure he doesn't get off the Stampede, controlling him as much as possible. Dendi tries to make his initiation, but immediately gets countered. Kezu's still alive. Now he gets off the Stampede. Disaster strikes for Navi. Completely misreading how they could take down Kezu, and Dendi getting caught as he tries to make his second initiation. That'll be the Aegis, and that'll probably be a wipe here. Not sure how Pycat's going to be able to get away, especially without that Lincolns. Gets instantly sight the Vice, just like Dendi did. And Secret, huge win. Turn it into a push.
That was a very all-in play from Navi to try to focus down the center of all heroes, and they know there's so much damage mitigation from his Stampede that they want to take him out, and they're happy to solo chrono him, but there's also damage mitigation coming from a Solar Crest Glimmer Cape. The Glimmer Cape from Puppey and the Solar Crest kept Kezu alive, and it's not just the Stampede you've got to worry about. The fact that Sankin was just sitting on that cliff waiting to follow up the chrono. They used Epicenter Chrono and the Leshrac on a Centaur they couldn't even kill. And now Navi are going to be with their back against the wall, lose their first lane of racks. They don't want to buy back Dendi. He's got that low respawn time, but going to be further damage to their base. No easy RPs.
Versus 5. They may just have to. 30 seconds left. Secret may just go after this melee rack straight up to the top lane.
Mid one is so well positioned. He's always out of vision. Never lets Dendi see him. Ever since that one fight where Dendi solo RP'd him, I think he's caught onto the fact that Dendi is just solely waiting to find mid one with an RP, and he stays so far back that even if Dendi manages to get onto him, it's like you've dived way past the main line, the front lines, and you put yourself in a terrible position where you're not going to kill mid one. So making it damn near impossible to get the RP Dendi wants.
Skewer, but there goes the time lapse. Stampede also being used. Stolen Stampede on a Ags Rubik. That is a huge pickup.
Time to run if you're Secret, probably. With more so because of the respawns, but that Stampede also poses a bit of an issue. And you've just taken 2 full lanes of racks. Like you're in no rush right now. Don't need to force a bad fight, having just won a fantastic one.
With 2 full lanes of racks up as they did both those matches. Amount of gold too. Once upon a time, Navi had about a 10,000 gold lead. They're winning back-to-back team fights. Now it's Secret, holding more than a 10,000 gold and have almost evened up the experience. That was so much in the favor of Navi that it still has not dipped down into Secret's favor.
That is been I mean, Navi had a very strong mid game, but all it took was a poor fight at bottom to lose a lot of that edge they had. And now with the racks down, it's going to be Secret playing from a very advantageous position. Puppy's got the Greaves, all the teamfight pieces coming together. Pilot even gets like a casual Aether Lens for some extra pass range to make sure he can get some of his spells off.
You get him with the telekinesis and the chronosphere, so he may end up dying here, but here comes that damage mitigation. The Glimmer Cape trying to save him long enough. The bash comes out, but there goes the time lapse. Now Dendi, he needs to find a good RP to be able to save this fight, but it doesn't look like it's possible. Pikecat is also going to go down. RMN, his BKB wears out towards the tail ends of his TP. He ends up getting stopped by the Scythe of Ice, and now it's Dendi and General against the world.
Yep.
I'm not sure if it's going to be these two.
General gets away from mid one, but yeah, holding this racks looks damn near impossible. Secrets, like the support items, to me is what is winning every single fight. Having these Glimmer Capes, having the Greaves, the Solar Crest. The Solar Crest on numerous occasions has kept alive whoever's been chronosphered, and it really has been the difference maker. The fact that Puppy and Pi have done so much.
Comes at epicenter, Burst Strike just on the Puppy, and that's not even going to be enough to finish him off. General going to be Scythe of Ice, and looks like he should go down here. Dendi makes his way back to the fountain, tries to get a skewer, but and actually last time. It's GG called from Navi, despite a promising mid-game with all those team fights and big-time abilities. Navi will end up losing to Secret as the 3-2-0 and are eliminated from DAC.
Well, Navi, they had a tough group, a strong showing, I would say. I mean, they took down Secret 2-1 in the initial match. Were versing a Bears team who was a complete mystery, but very well known that this was a potential
wizard, what do you see as you twist the tiles beneath our feet? What do you see? Remember the fade in your eyes. I'm lost in space, floating away. see you.